What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel, where for today's video we're going to be checking out the Transformers Studio Series Bumblebee movie Leader Class Megatron, a design which I'm so glad now to finally see made into a reality after he was savagely cut from the original ending of the Bumblebee movie. He was supposed to show up, frozen in the ice stored underneath Hoover Dam, and that would have been the bridge between the Bumblebee film and the original 2007 Michael Bay movie, but he is now back, and back with a bang, as this has got to be one of the best looking Megatron designs of all time, and it's surprisingly quite accurate to the very few CG renders which do exist for this Megatron. So as we check out the details, he is looking so insanely sick, much like Optimus Prime, a great translation from G1 into live action. The mechanical details I think are looking crazy good. I mean, check out the shocks that we have embedded in the forearms, inside the thighs, and the shins are just looking so brutal. Now, as far as I'm aware, there is only a CG render which exists for Megatron's robot mode, so much like some of the past Cybertronian characters, it really has allowed the design team to solely focus on this form. So when we flip him around here to the back, not only is he completely filled in, but there aren't too many obvious alt mode components, which honestly is kind of surprising considering that not only is he the very first concept series figure, but the first Studio Series triple changer. They've even detailed the back to kind of match what we saw from Optimus Prime, and the painting and the details here for the arms I think are just looking so insanely awesome. This really is the perfect G1 live action movie Megatron design, and one that I'm hoping makes a comeback in the next live action movie. Now, firepower wise for Megatron, he is packing his iconic fusion cannon, which has been super nicely detailed as well as sculpted. Integration wise, it's looking great. I mean, it's a perfect scale for this Megatron, and forget him appearing frozen in the ice. Can you guys imagine how amazing it would have been had he showed up in that opening Cybertron battle sequence to single-handedly annihilate the Autobots and Optimus Prime? We were robbed of this live action movie design, and this is exactly how I would hope Megatron would appear if he does come back in the future movies, because he really is looking just so badass. Now, the second way that you can integrate the cannon is to store it on his back. Now, this can be done in two ways, the first of which I think kind of throws it all the way back to how he originally appeared in the G1 series. I mean, to kind of have that barrel hanging over the top of his shoulder, I think is looking awesome, but you can then also compress the cannon and kind of give him this brick-like backpack, which I'm gonna be honest, guys, I don't think looks nowhere near as cool as this configuration. And then the third and final way really is to make use out of this joint, which we do not use in any three of his modes. So you're going to want to pop this hinge joint up like that. It then exposes some additional hydraulic details, so it is making me wonder if maybe this is what it has always been intended for. You can then attach that onto his back and give Soundwave a run for his money, as that is one impressive over-the-shoulder cannon, and I'm gonna be real, I think this may look even more badass than having it attached onto the side of the arm, because that is one formidable looking shoulder cannon. Now, posability wise is crazy good. He articulates even better than some actual high-end action figures. So first of all, the head's on a ball joint. This will look up, it will look down, side to side slightly, and can also look left to right. The shoulders will move all the way around. They'll then hinge out to the sides, and check this out. Intentional butterfly joints which can bend to an amazing range. These are excellent, especially when posing Megatron with that fusion cannon. There is then a bicep cut and an additional forearm swivel due to how he transforms. The elbows can bend way past 90 only on a single hinge joint. The wrists, due to transformation, can move forwards and backwards, rotate left to right, and check this out. He has Commander class level of articulation packed inside his fingers. So that is incredibly awesome, and the detail inside those tiny segmented joints I think are crazy good. The waist can rotate all the way around. Unfortunately, no ab crunch, but I imagine due to how he transforms, perhaps that's asking for too much. All of the hip skirts can be moved out of the way, so that truly does allow you to maximize the range out of the hips. I mean, check out that high kick. If you take the side skirt and move it backwards, it allows for an even further range. They will then kick back roughly to that far. Out to the sides, there is a thigh swivel way past 90 only on a single hinge for the knee, and then finally the ankles, in addition to rocking forwards and backwards, can also go side to side. So the posability for this guy truly is crazy, but to see his true potential, now let's put him through the pose test. So, comparison-wise, we are really just going to fly through some of these as there are so many to get through. So first of all, we have the closest to G1 accuracy that we've so far seen in the main line, that being the Transformers Siege Voyager Megatron. So again, a great translation from G1 into live action. This Megatron is looking incredible. Leader Class, Rise of the Beast, Scourge. Now, Scourge was a fantastic movie villain, but the producers and the directors need to stop playing around. It is about time that the true leader of the Decepticons made his resurgence. The original 2007 MBE-1 Megatron, the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Voyager class Megatron. As we don't currently have an accurately scaled Bumblebee movie Shockwave, here is the Dark of the Moon Leader class version. The Transformers Bumblebee movie Voyager class Optimus Prime, and damn, what a pairing these two make. How amazing would have it been to have seen these two actually go head to head during that Cybertron battle sequence. Again, I think we were absolutely robbed of this incredible design. But it's not too late to make this pairing into a reality, as even stacked up alongside the most recent live-action movie rendition of Optimus Prime, Megatron still looks insanely awesome. Here is how he sizes up alongside the Reactivate Optimus Prime, Leader Class, Rise of the Beasts, Optimus Primal. The Voyager class Bumblebee movie Starscream, the non-transforming YOLO Park Optimus Prime, his loyal communications expert Soundwave, the original 2007 Voyager class Optimus Prime, and then finally for a few more we have Deluxe class Brawn and Deluxe class Ironhide, and then B-127 and Cybertronian RC. Now, checking out Megatron's transformation when going from robot into tank mode, for the first step you are going to want to take a hold of the head, rotate it so the back is now facing the front, then we can come to these forearm covers, pop those open, and then take the robot mode hands, slide these inside, and snap those there back into place. Then you are going to want to take the forearm swivel, rotate this around so the port is now facing upwards, and slide the shoulder back down like that. Do the exact same here for this side, so pop open that forearm cover, take the robot mode hand, fold that inside, snap this here down, and then rotate at this forearm swivel. Now, in terms of the fusion cannon, you are then going to want to take this, extend it all of the way forwards just like that, and then take this grey section and rotate this piece here upwards. Then for the next step, you are going to want to spin around here to the back. Now, this is a tank tread which I've already pre-prepared because this is super stuck, but for this side, what you are going to want to do is take it and pry it out, and it should snap into place. Now, these for some reason are unnecessarily tight, so definitely watch out for those, but you do have to bring them out for the tank mode transformation. Then for the next step, what you'll do is you'll take these hip skirts and you'll hinge all of this here forwards and out to the sides. Then we will spin around to Megatron's back, take what will become the jet wings, fold this piece here out, and then fold this panel all of the way out just like that. And then for the next step, you're going to want to take a hold of the tank tread, disengage it like that, and then come up to the top and begin popping the kneecap out of place. Now, this can be kind of difficult, but it will shift upwards just like this. Then we can take the robot mode foot, slide this in like that, and then slide the entire shin up and over the thigh. And then this little tab will slide into this slot on the very tip of Megatron's foot. So just snap that there into place. Then what we can do is take these wings, snap that section in, and then take this piece and fold it towards yourself. Now, that is one side completely transformed. Do the exact same on the opposite side. So take a hold of this wing, fold it out, and then fold out the secondary panel. Then again, make sure you take a hold of that tread, detach it away from the inside tab, then spin around to the front, take the kneecap, and try your best to kind of pry this away from some of those internal joints so all of this is loosened up. Then we can take that foot, slide it down, and shift this here all the way over the top. Then again, make sure that tab does line up with the slot right at the very tip of Megatron's foot. Snap that there into place. Then we can take a hold of these panels, snap those there into place. And then for the next step, this is kind of cool. You're going to take the hips and pop these out, completely extending them. Do the same here for this side. So pop this here all of the way out. So at the moment, Megatron should be looking like this. Then what we can do is take these hip skirts and slide these down. So in some ways, they do kind of help to stop these pieces from folding back up. Then what you're going to do is detach the shoulders and the backpack away from the main chest piece. So slide that there all the way to the back. It is on many different hinge joints. And then if you check it out from the back, there is this tiny little lip which will actually tuck underneath this tab. So what you will do here is just snap that there into place. Then for the next step, you are going to want to take a hold of Megatron's chest plate, pull this here forwards, and then take these tiny little additional panels and just begin to slide those outwards. Now we can rotate at the hips. This really reminds me of the Revenge of the Fallen Megatron transformation, and these tabs are going to slide into these slots. So line that up, snap that into place, do the exact same here for this side, so rotate that around and snap that in there, and then what you will do is begin compressing the shoulders and then hinging here at the elbow, kind of creating this almost L shape. So do the same here for this side, create that L shape utilizing the elbow joint, and then as I'm sure you guys would be able to tell, you will just snap that port into the opposite side of the fusion cannon. And bang! Here we have Megatron fully transformed into his Cybertronian tank mode. Now, it's not terrible, but it's definitely not great either. I kind of get what they were going for when it comes to this whole triple changing idea. You know, the tank mode, I think, is supposed to have taken inspiration from the Revenge of the Fallen Megatron design, and then the jet mode from the original 2007 design, but neither mode looked great, and you know, really and truly, in some ways, I wish maybe they had scrapped the triple changing idea completely and had solely focused on just giving this guy a robot and a tank mode, because as you begin to take a look at some of the closer details, sadly he is super hollow on the inside, and as we flip him to the underside, he doesn't include any actual rolling wheels, which I think sucks. Now, I could kind of let it slide with the Voyager class Tarn, but for a $55 leader class, to be honest guys, I think that is so lazy and cheap. Basically makes Megatron in tank mode a glorified paperweight. The details are not bad, and you know, Megatron never really appeared in the movie, so it's hard to say just exactly what he would have transformed into, but taking a look at some of Hasbro's past tank modes, I'm definitely certain maybe they could have made something a little better than this. If you accurately transform him, then the turret does unfortunately sit at a rather weird angle, so my recommendation to you guys would be to take this transformation hinge joint, detach it so that it definitely does sit a lot more straight, but then it is kind of loose and floppy. But the turret itself can rotate all the way around. The blaster is blast effect compatible, so if you do smack on some effects, I'm not gonna lie, it does look pretty cool, but yeah, definitely nowhere near as impressive looking as the robot mode. Now, as we check out some tank mode comparisons, on the right hand side we have the Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. Now, this design for Prime is specifically based when he does arrive on Earth towards the end of the film. We know a Cybertronian design exists for this guy, and with concept series now clearly being a thing, I think it would be amazing to give us a full-on Cybertronian Optimus Prime to pair alongside this Cybertronian tank Megatron. But do you know what, scale-wise, I don't think they look terrible, pretty much on par with the 2009 Optimus Prime and Megatron scale. Which, speaking of, here we have the 2009 Megatron design. Now, despite this B-movie version being a leader and this being a Voyager, in tank mode, I do much prefer the look of the Revenge of the Fallen Megatron. It's way more coherent. In some ways, I really wish that they had specifically based his Cybertron tank mode on this design, because I really think it works out so nicely for Megatron. Here is how he stacks up alongside the Voyager class Siege Megatron. Now again, this is a Voyager, it does include proper rolling wheels. Why they couldn't have integrated that into a leader class, I really do think, guys, is kind of cheap. Here we have the Bumblebee movie Tetrajet Starscream, and I had actually forgotten just how enormous Starscream is in his jet mode. He pretty much towers over Megatron. And then finally, when it comes to tank mode comparisons, here is how he stacks up alongside Soundwave's tank mode. So at least it's better than whatever this thing was trying to be. Honestly, in comparison now to Megatron, this Soundwave does come across as being quite outdated. In some ways, I hope maybe they approach this design again in the future and definitely give him a way better looking alt mode. Now, checking out his transformation going from tank into jet mode is surprisingly quite complicated. So, for the first step, you are going to want to take a hold of the turret, rotate this around into its original robot mode configuration. Then we can flip here to the underside, and if they haven't done so already, just begin to compress these treads until they do click there into place. Then we can take what will become the nose cone of Megatron's jet and completely extend this forwards. Then we'll take Megatron's head, fold this forwards too, and begin rotating it. Now, you are definitely going to want to make sure that you don't bump the head into these joints, because you really don't want to rub off any of that amazing metallic silver. So just gently rotate this here all the way around and compress that into that hollow cavity. Then we can take these additional panels and begin folding these inside, I guess really and truly just to conceal some of the hollowness. Then what you want to do is come up here to the top, take these tank treads, detach them, and rotate these here around. So So do the same here for this side, rotate that there all the way around, and then you're going to want to separate this arm away from Megatron's fusion cannon. Now with that done, you're then going to want to take the shoulders and extend these here all the way out, really and truly on both sides, just like that. Then for the next step, you are going to want to take the fusion cannon and compress it back into its original robot mode configuration, like that, but then this time rotate it around so that the barrel is now facing towards the tank treads. With that done, we can then take this entire section here, detach it, and begin bringing it forward. So these panels are going to collapse over the top of Megatron's head, and then this tab here is just going to slide right on top of his original chest plate. It will then click into place, and then what you'll do is you'll take the arms and you'll bring these inwards. You're definitely going to want to make sure you do this, otherwise it will make some later steps just a little tricky. So kind of pull these here forwards just to really and truly get them out of the way. Now we can come to the hip skirts. You're going to want to fold these up, slide them down, and do the exact same here for this side. Now one thing to take note of is that you are going to want to take these panels and fold them forwards. Try your hardest not to compress them because it will cause for some difficulties later on. Then we're going to take these hip joints and compress them. Make sure that they are completely snapped into place. You'll hear this really satisfying click. So do the same here for this side. Snap that there into place. And now really is where the fun begins because these are quite complicated. So you are going to want to take a hold of the wing, fold this out, and then fold the tip out all of the way just like this. Then what we can do is take the tread, detach it away from the sole of Megatron's foot, and then slide all of this here up. Now what I thought was really clever is the tank tread does actually become the booster of the jet mode, so I thought that was kind of cool. Then what you'll do is you'll rotate here at the hip so that this black piece is now facing towards yourself, and then you will rotate at Megatron's thigh, just like that. Then what we'll do is we'll take this here and bend at the knee. Now this tab is going to slide into that slot, so bring that all the way down, snap that into place, and then there's also an additional tab which is going to slide into the back of the tank treads. With that now complete, we can take Megatron's thigh guard, hinge that there all the way out, and one thing you have to take note of is there is a tab here that is going to slide into this slot. So try your hardest to kind of line this up. Basically, you've just got to kind of pull it over the top, and then what that will allow you to do is snap this booster into this top slot. So snap that in there just like that. Make sure that this here is completely extended. We will then pull this forwards all of the way, just like that, and leave it like this for now. So do the same on the opposite side, quite involved. So take this wing and completely extend it all of the way forwards. Again, take the tank tread, detach it away from Megatron's foot, take the entire shin, shift this here forwards like that, rotate the tread around so that it now transforms into an actual booster for Megatron, and then what you'll do is rotate here at the hip, then you'll make sure that you rotate here at the thigh, take this section, bring this here all the way around until it does snap into place at those 2 points. Then what you'll make sure you do is take this thigh cover, bring this here all the way forwards like that, and then flip here to the underside and make sure that that tab again slides into that slot. So just kind of bring this over, line this up as best as you possibly can, and then as you flip here to the underside, hopefully automatically that tank tread would have already locked into the sole of the foot. With that step now complete, what we can do is make sure that these panels again are completely brought forwards. You're going to want to crunch these joints here up, and these tabs should slide into those slots. So snap that one into place, do the exact same here for this side, and then in terms of the arms, they have these massive tabs which are going to peg into those slots. Now the first few times you do this, it will kind of feel as if though perhaps it's not intended to peg in there, but trust me, just give it a good old squeeze and it should stay in there just fine. Do the exact same here for the fusion cannon side, so snap that section into place just like that, and then on the fusion cannon is this tiny little tab that will peg into a tiny little indent that is sculpted into the front of the skirt. Now to be honest, it more or less just rests there, but with that now fully tabbed in, bang! Here we have Megatron fully transformed into his Cybertronian jet mode. Now, between his three forms, this one really does come across as being an afterthought. Basically, they've just cobbled together everything which was left over from the robot and the tank mode to kind of recreate something which looks similar to his original 2007 jet mode. I mean, to be fair, I do quite like this three-spiked look that we have going on from the front, but in terms of a jet mode, yeah, it's not looking too impressive. As I mentioned, I really would have rather them scrapped this form to truly focus on that tank mode. If you check out the cockpit, to me, this really reminds me of Ravage. So maybe Ravage has been eating a few Cybertronian steroids and has transformed now into a Cybertronian mess. But the details are just basically everything that we saw previously, but they end up in a slightly different place. I'm also not the biggest fan of how the cannon basically stores here on the underside. It's very loose, you know, nothing really clips in. I was hoping that maybe it would snap into this arm, but instead, you know, it's just kind of rattling around. There's not too much going on here at all. So in terms of the three modes, this is probably the one I am least likely to ever revisit in the future, but it's a third bonus mode. If you're a fan of Megatron transforming into a jet, then maybe you'll get some enjoyment out of this. So, comparison-wise, this first one's going to be a little tricky to show off because this 2007 Megatron is enormous. Honestly, guys, I think there's no competition. This jet mode is way nicer for Megatron. Here is how he stacks up again alongside the Revenge of the Fallen Megatron. Here is how he compares alongside the Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime, the Cybertronian Soundwave, and I'm surprised to say, but I think in this form, I do prefer Soundwave's alt mode. I mean, at least it's cohesive and stays together. This jet mode for Megatron is honestly kind of a hot mess. And then finally, here we have Cybertronian Starscream, which in his Tetrajet mode, no competition at all, absolutely annihilates Megatron, which I'm certain he's not going to be happy about because Megatron hates Starscream. And so, wrapping up on this review for the Transformers Studio Series Bumblebee movie, Leader Class Concept Art Megatron. The robot mode design looks crazy awesome. It's brilliant that Hasbro have finally taken that unused design from Bumblebee and have made it into a reality. And my only hope now is that we can eventually see this design on the big screen. The painting and the sculpting is crazy awesome. The articulation is amazing. I mean, as I mentioned previously, it's up to par with some import action figures. The butterfly joints are insanely wicked. The fusion cannon I think is crazy good. The alt modes unfortunately are definitely this figure's downfall. Now, Megatron never appeared in the movie, let alone had an alt mode, so it's kind of difficult to really critique either of these two forms because who knows, this could be exactly how Megatron would have looked had he appeared in the film. But you know, the lack of rolling wheels on a Leader Class I think straight up sucks. Super cheap for a $55 release, and jet mode is just a hot mess. I mean, to be honest with you guys, I would avoid it at all costs. There's really nothing great going on here at all. It's by far the weakest out of his three modes and really does just seem to be an afterthought and cobbled together with what Hasbro had left over from both the robot and the tank mode. I would love to get your thoughts on this Bumblebee movie Megatron down in the comment section below. What do you guys think? I want to thank you all so much for watching, and until my next review, transform and roll out!